The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting hour of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host. As we start the show off today, 1925 off about 20 points on the S&P cash. Been bouncing off the lows of the day, which is just 3 points lower on the S&P cash. Volume of about 2.4 billion shares. So it's starting to get back to kind of the trend that we saw last year and not the heavy volume we've seen in the past. That does not mean that we will not have lower prices coming. I suspect that we do. And I've acted on it over the last week or so, and even into a long-range one this morning. But a very interesting market. Now, this is the last day of options rollover, so it's not uncommon to see a big move up and then a move back down, and then the proof of the pudding come on Wednesday. So we'll continue looking at it. But, man, I see a ton of stocks that they're trying to hold up, and there is no volume. In fact, we had one yesterday that went a little higher than I would have liked, but the volume was about 1/5 of what it was for the same price point on the way down. That tells me that what I need to do is sit on my hands. And lovely hands they are. In the meantime, we always meet at this time of day. If I can find it. Where's it at? There we are.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Every day.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
History is important in the stock market because whatever's happened before will happen again. The prices on Wall Street are made in the minds of men and therefore will come back unless you see human nature change. And I don't think that's happening anytime soon. All of recorded history has pretty much been the exact same thing. On this day in 1945, during the bloody Battle of Iwo Jima, U.S. Marines from the 3rd Platoon, E Company, 2nd Battalion, 28th Regiment of the 5th Division take the crest of the mountain of Suribachi, the island's highest peak and most strategic position. They raised a flag. Marine photographer Lewis Lowry was there, and he recorded the event. American soldiers fighting for control of Suribachi's slope cheered the raising of the flag, and several hours later, more Marines headed up to the crest with even a larger flag. We think we've got a lot of problems today. I always think of all the imaginary first world problems that we have that people come up with, the ridiculous stuff that I hear about them teaching kids in school and everything else. We've got to be hugging and everything else. Man, I tell you what, there's times in the history of the United States that were flat out about as depressing as they can get. And I don't hear a lot of people back in World War II talking about peanut allergies or you can't put on any perfume because I'm irritated by it. All the other stuff that seemed to do nothing. In fact, I've got a friend that is a contractor. He says, you know what? I've never seen any of the migrant labor that comes to work for me ever complain about a peanut allergy. Why is it just a first world issue? I don't know. But certainly we've had real problems. I think most of our problems, for the most part, are imaginary these days. We're just looking for anything to do it. And if I hear the next person I'm going to have to strangle that says that they rescued their dog at the pound, I think that there were people that were really heroes were probably men on a day like this in 1945. They just didn't go and pay a couple $100 to the pound and get a dog. No one, the first person that actually tells me they went into a burning building to get a rescue dog, I will say that they are a hero. Other than that, you just went to the pound and got a dog. Let's all put everything into a little bit of reality. Anyway, not a lot going on in the way of news. I guess we could probably talk a little bit more about Apple's problems, but there's not a lot to do about it. I'll be here in the 4 o'clock hour, AAPL, right? I'll be in the 4 o'clock hour wrapping up the show for Tom today. So you'll get a double taste, a double shot of me today. So I'll have to spread it thin, make sure that there's enough to go around. Anyway, a little bit more discussion on Apple. The only thing I think is interesting is the fact that the FBI guys, we talked a little bit about how when it comes to sources and methods, they're like the NSA. They have no problem lying to everybody, including Congress and or judges about it. But what we did find out is that the FBI guy was lying. There are 13 cases right behind this one already in the works that they will use after they get a precedent to force Apple to unlock those phones. Not a great deal, just the regular market movement out here. But for the most part, I can't see anything that says that Apple does not come out, test this a $92 low from August 24th. And it's very hard to see anything that really moves Apple very strongly. If you missed it over the weekend and yesterday, I think there was some of it on CNBC. They were talking about Samsung's a big foray over Spain. If you missed it, I put it in the Tech Insider on Friday. But the big World Conference for mobile phones is held every year at this time. And Samsung showed their new Galaxy 7. That's some interesting capability in it. But, wireless charging, totally waterproof, roll-off edges, unbreakable screen. That one's probably going to be the most important, although I noticed that they didn't really scream or yell about the unbreakable screen so much, and I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe it is breakable if you shot it with a gun. They're worried about people actually trying to do something. I don't think they have to claim it's bulletproof. But maybe just unbreakable is maybe a tough word to use. But a very interesting phone nonetheless. But other than that, probably the most interesting thing, we didn't talk about it yesterday, but I watched it on Sunday, and that was that Samsung has made a deal with Facebook for virtual reality. And it kind of moved the stock a little bit yesterday. But I think it did a lot more for Samsung than it did for Facebook. You may have seen the images, but everybody had their Samsung VR goggles on in the audience, and Zuckerberg ended up sneaking up all the way behind about 1,500 people in the audience and going up and walking on stage with nobody noticing them because they were all stuck in their little VR headsets. But they are making a deal with Facebook for VR content, and that will become much more of an issue. We will be back. I've got plenty of time today. Give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com or post a message in the den.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
We're going to go right to some of the stocks that are moving. Let me check my email here. Got some interesting email, but nothing about the stock market. But send me your comments anyway. I will opine on just about anything. If you have a question, a technical issue, give me a call anyway. I've got a pretty wide berth when it comes to technology. What else do we have going on out here? Okay. I wanted to get to what was moving, actually, and I had a kind of diverted on what was going on out here. But let's look at the big movers today. Of course, Fitbit still on its way down. I don't know if there's a whole lot you can say other than that. Down on heavy volume, it's going to be breaking its previous low of January 11th. The move down from a lot of these IPOs last year continues. I don't see anything that really says that any of these things have finished going down. Normally, you find at least some level of support around $10 because that's at the point that funds basically can't hold it anymore. So it depends if the underwriter decides to get involved at that level. But normally, you'll see that it's kind of a. I'll talk to you about it in aeronautical terms. Since we were talking about the Second World War. If you lost a bunch of engines and you'd been bombing Germany or Japan or something and got shot up a little bit, a B-17 could fly out of 4 engines, could fly on one if you basically threw everything overboard. And we're only about 10 or 20 feet off the water as you were going across the channel. That's because of a thing called a ground effect, which gave you a lot more lift when you were just about half the length of the wing above the water. It kind of was like a cushion, kind of pushed on it. And I kind of think of that $10 level in a lot of these stocks as that same level because you've got the underwriters that really don't want to end up taking any shares back or getting egg on their face. So for a while, they will defend that $10 level, but you'll see how many stocks that have come down like this pretty much jet to the $10 level and continue on. Now we're off 17 points on the S&P cash, so we'll continue looking at some more stocks moving. We had Pitt, Cons. Of course, we've talked about this company several times. None of them are around here, so I've never been in one. But it's kind of a combination Best Buy and Aaron Rent or any of those Rent-A-Center kind of places. I guess they do both, sell and do everything. This thing has been down to $11.49. Tried to come down and test it. It did on lighter volume on February 10th, but did not pierce that low. It had a nice little bounce, but numbers out, and of course they look fairly horrible. My guess is this is at least going back down to 11.49 level, and you've got a big move on that one today. Cabot Oil and Gas, COG. A lot of discussion about what is going to happen for supply in the market for oil. And I'm sure Andy will be with us in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll probably talk about it. In fact, I'm doing the 4 o'clock hour. So I think, am I talking to him today? I think I am. I think he will be my guest. So we'll have a good conversation in the 4 o'clock hour as he comes in. Oh, you're covering for Tom in the first hour. Yeah, and he will call in to the 4 o'clock hour too, he says. So anyway, Cabot Oil and Gas, of course, everybody said, well, there's going to be a deal. There's going to be a freeze on production. I didn't think that there would be any freeze whatsoever on that. But down on heavy volume today, you just have to say that it's only a matter of time, I suspect, before these lows are retested in most of these companies. But this is down almost 7% today. We talked about Western Digital many times on the show. We were short this back up when it was 110 bucks in the Tech Insider. It was one of the few stocks that had a fundamental position that just meant that this thing was going lower. I don't see anything that changes that as SSDs or non-spinning hard drives that are made out of memory continue to replace a great deal of the spinning drives. In fact, this week, I think there was a 10 terabyte SSD drive that was launched. Can't remember who did it. I wrote about it. But it is getting the value proposition of buying spinning hard drives because of the speed needed, especially in the cloud, is becoming much more problematic for these companies since they don't make money at all by buying memory and building hard drives as an SSD. It's very hard to figure out how any of these companies, either Western Digital or Seagate, continues on. We're going to go to Chuck in Wyoming. How are you doing today, Chuck?
Good. Do you think Intel is going to take out last year's low? What it's been doing?
You have 24 bucks? That August 24th low?
Yeah, it's light volume has been going down the past few days.
Yeah, I think that whole sector, of course, I'm extremely bearish on the market, so it's going to come back. I think that Intel actually and Micron are probably second half stories, and that is they've got some new products that should do very well. Intel actually is going to start shipping them in about 2 months, but I don't think that they're going to really make a difference until late in the year. But everything I see just says, we've had triple tops in the market in most of these, and why Intel's not doing bad, it's easy to sell, and right now there are so many stocks down 50, 80% that they're selling the winners and holding these losers. And you can pretty much guarantee that people on Wall Street will do the wrong thing at the wrong time. And that's exactly what these big holders of Intel are doing. They're using it as a source of cash.
So where do you think we're going?
What's that?
Where do you think
I think it's going down at about that $25 level. I think you could buy it there if you're actually thinking about getting a long-term position. But I think you want it back at about that $25 level midsummer, maybe. I'm thinking that's probably pretty close. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So you think it'll close a lot of gaps and it'll get down to 25 and pay a really good dividend?
Yeah, I think it's a great company, but I think it's a great company in a market that's just horrifically bad.
Could you check another one? It's called CCC, the symbol.
You cut out there for me.
CCC, the symbol CCC.
Calgon Carbon Corporation.
Their earnings came out yesterday. I think it's a really good company. It has a good product, but I don't know. Where do you think we're going?
Calgon Carbon. What do they do?
They're water purifying.
Yeah. Activated carbon. Okay. We'll talk about this when we come back.
Oh, thank you.
As my engineer says, Calgon, take me away.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And hopefully we're back with Chuck in Wyoming. You still there? Did Chuck spontaneously explode? He was going to talk about something else. Well, maybe he calls back, or maybe he's there. Maybe our engineer is just waking up. You never quite know. Anyway, Calgon Corporation. I just don't. I'm trying to figure the story out here as activated carbon for water filters as a giant business gets much larger. I've read about a couple of technologies that may really displace carbon for that particular deal, and it's by some of the bigger defense companies. And I don't know what the status of that is now, but I'd have to be worried about how many people are getting in to water purification, especially in the defense industry. But I wouldn't be buying this right now. The energy on the way down was way too much, which means that you've got a fairly long amount of time where this thing is going to have to actually base out before it would even be buyable. So I would avoid it. In fact, I don't think that there's going to be a lot of buying going on in the broad markets before the election for the most part. But I could see technology being weak all the way through maybe into August, maybe even farther. But I think we could see a maybe a bottom in July or August. I just don't see any product out there that's really going to drive new sales. Apple's new products, when they come out, I think it's going to be like Samsung. It's just going to be, is it 5% better? Yes. Is that worth actually upgrading? I don't know. So we'll see it. Other stocks of interest out here. Oh, let me check my email. Apparently everybody is out here looking for catfish because they're bottom fishing. Sandy asks, do you see either of these two bottoming? And that's GoPro. I think GoPro could go out of business, actually. It would not surprise me. It may take a year or two. I don't see anything that they fixed for their major problem. In fact, I think it's come back up here, touched this gap it had down on earnings on the 14th. I don't see anything new that even makes me think that this thing is anywhere close to a bottom. Maybe if they release their drone product and it really has something special, but I haven't heard or seen anything from GoPro that says their drones are going to be that much better than anybody else. FireEye interests me a whole lot more. We've talked about this, I don't know how many times, but until someone gets sued, it's going to be the kind of business that's very much like the closed-circuit television business, and that is that until insurers said that you cannot have insurance on your gas fast stop location until you put in 4 cameras around your location and do some other things to have at least a minimum amount of security at your gas pumps and inside your store, we're just not going to give you any insurance. So therefore, people started putting in CCTV systems. Until some company, I thought maybe it was going to be enough when the targets had rolled a Christmas ago, but still there's no action really in Congress that says that these guys are going to be forced to actually spend the money on things like FireEye and Cyber and the rest of the bunch. In fact, let's take a quick look at that one, CYBR. Yeah, none of these look good. Just busted through the lows, and now it's back up to it. I don't see a lot here. Again, any of these stocks that have been decimated as badly as the security companies probably are going to need to base out for a while before they find a low. So even if this was a low, I'm going to say that this is much more like gold, that it took a year of people trying to buy the lows before it actually did bottom out. And I just don't see anything else out here that says that that bottoms out. Do these look horrible? The answer is no. But at the same time, you're going to need a lot of consolidation and a lot of people losing interest in these stocks before they do that. Now, GoPro is probably much more likely to go out of business than CyberArk or FireEye, in my opinion, although those two could see even lower prices fairly easily. But yeah, that's it. So thanks, Sandy. But Sandy doesn't say where she's from, so I'm going to say she's from Lutz, Florida. What else do we have out here? I wanted to get back into this stuff. 1926 on the S&P cash, coming in on 2.6 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape. Had a email question from Rob from Lutz, Florida, and he is asking about Microsoft, MSFT. We talked a little bit about this on Friday. They had a kind of a nice last couple of days of the week, and fairly decent movement on Friday because they're going to they've gotten the go-ahead for at least the Department of Defense to move to Windows 10. That's about 4 million units. They are going to start doing that in February and have all the units upgraded in that calendar year. So kind of a nice deal. I'm sure there's a contract and they get a special deal for being the government and all that. But it's still nice to see that at least the Department of Defense is not trying to use Windows 98 anymore as a secure system to keep all their stuff on. That being said, the energy was lackluster off this low from February 8th, and I don't see anything that doesn't say that we are seeing lower prices. I think you could see Microsoft come back to about $40, where this big gap happened from August 24th of 2015, and that probably would be the next point. It would be a great buy. So, could it lose $12? I think it could over time, not all at one time. But certainly it's going to come back to that mid 48 level, I suspect, in the next week or two. And if you get any more volume, then that starts the road down to $40. And I think you could easily see it come down there, base out maybe for a couple of months in the summer. And then I think there's some interesting products that I talked with a couple of the dinners and actually wrote about in the Tech Insider that could make this thing a good, like Intel, a good end of the year story. But I think we can get all the way maybe into the elections before we see that Christmas rally. I think it's going to be a lean year for most of them. What else do we have out here? Wanted to get back to my stuff. Cabot, we got Western Digital. Vail was off about 6% today. We'll take a quick look at that. I still don't see anything that says, especially people in this sector have found any low other than a bounce off the lows. Energy has been kind of nice these last couple of days to the upside. February 22nd, you had 40 million shares. Man, when these stocks get this low, they don't turn around easily. We'll be back.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we're back. I wanted to hit Vail just because it was moving today. I'll probably talk about Vail with Andy Heck in the 4 o'clock hour. But, iron ore business, I think Andy actually wrote an article about this whole thing. I think it was me talking about how if you wanted 100 tons of iron ore, you could probably get the shipping free. That was because the shipping prices, as shown by the Baltic Dry Index, really hadn't done much. But, you can, last 3 or 4 days, has it gone up 1%? The answer is yes. But if we look back on the 1-year chart of this thing, this is nothing more so far than a dip out there. I don't know exactly how cheap these Baltic Dry Index prices can get. There we go. How cheap these Baltic Dry Index prices can get. But, I mean, this is probably one of the most lackluster bounces for price that this thing has had. You had a couple of big moves early on, but I think there's pretty much a depression in these prices, and there's nothing that tells me that these things are really going to move anytime soon. We keep getting the idea that maybe copper or some of this other stuff is going to actually start moving, and of course the first real indication of real movement is probably going to be in this Baltic Dry Index that covers those kind of bulk shipping items. And I tell you what, 1% just doesn't make me feel like that there's any kind of sign of strength in this sector. I know everybody's out there bottom fishing these days. I see everybody in the den talking about copper or natural gas. I just want to see a sign of strength before I jump in the deep end of the pool. 1925 on the S&P cash, 2.6 billion shares. And of course, the real proof of the pudding going to be tomorrow, as normally about this time we are out of options rollover, and the option positions are pretty much set for option market makers. We don't get a real clue as to way that they've bet, but we do start to see the market move in the direction it will have. And of course, you've got this week. Yeah, I mean, you really don't get into any fund buying until next Monday. So you could see a great deal of weakness into that Monday. And if it looks like anything like last week did, you had about $6.5 billion in funds leave the market, even though the market went higher. I don't see anything that changes that fund outflow prescription. And also the movement and news from the Mideast on crude doesn't say that there's a floor in for crude yet either. You could stay here at $30 or something, but I just don't see anything out there other than some market gas where a lot of people are way too short. The thing runs for a few days, and the reality that everybody and their dog needs to sell crude to keep their ship afloat in the Mideast continues on. But I'm sure we'll talk about that with Andy in the 4 o'clock hour. Let's get to some other of these stocks that are moving out here. Continue to see, it's off 5 or 6%. I don't see any real weakness, SCTY, in Solar City. We talked about how I've hated this stock for a while, mostly because I thought it was a solar fraud. I was joined by Jim Chanos. I wish I could have gotten some shares short, but he sucked up every single one that was apparently available. You've got a huge move down with massive volume and a high volume low out here. His take on this stock, of course, was that it is nothing but a financing scheme for second mortgages on houses. I just think it's a very expensive way to buy electricity, and would much more like to see the government put this into R&D to actually make solar cells and a storage system for that excess electricity viable commercially, and not just because the government is pushing it as another feel-good program. Not a lot of volume out here, but certainly you've got to think that the $16.31 low is going to be tested on February 11th. That had 14 million shares. I've just seen so many of these stocks that basically the back is broken on. And I could easily see this stock again, like many others, go to that $10 level before we find the market makers that brought these to market, actually the underwriters that brought this to market, actually start and try to support this thing at least a little bit at that $10 level. But I don't see a whole lot here. And if you follow Jim Chanos, this is one of the stocks that he says is going to zero. I could see why. There is just not an economic reason for it. And of course, my guess is that within a year, we'll probably see all those subsidies go away in a new budget, even though that they are going to be around for a while from a budget deal from last year. I have a feeling these will be cut by the long knives in Congress next year as they come along. What else do we have out here? Newport Corporation, up 50%. This one was a buyout, NEWP. Let me check my email real quick. Do I have anything else? Nobody else calling in from Lutz? Okay. Nice pop out here. And, of course, they sell a lot of technical equipment and scientific test equipment, other kinds of equipment to people making a lot of government and military high-tech stuff. Let me pop this up just so we make. Scientific research, microelectronics, defense, security, life, health sciences. They make just a ton of stuff like photonics and lasers and optics for measuring things. One of these companies that kind of reminds me of that ad from BASF. We don't make the cloth, we make it last longer in the washer. That kind of, if you remember that ad. They make a lot of the stuff that goes into the other stuff that's made out here. And, of course, probably a good buyout for them, their shareholders, and the company that is getting them. But they'll be gone out. I don't think a lot of people have ever brought this up. It was too low a volume for me to actually buy out here, but very interesting buyout. And the price tells me a lot about what's in that stock. Texas Roadhouse. I'm wondering if you've got any ghosts of, what was that Roadhouse movie with the guy from Ghost? Maybe someone will remember his name. I'm just having a mental blank now. But it was Roadhouse, one of the hokiest movies of all time. He was kind of, he was supposed to be some kind of savant in bar bouncers. Yeah, Patrick Swayze. Isn't that one of like the most bizarre movies of all time? He was kind of this guy with all this mystic Eastern kung fu stuff. He was kind of I guess you would call him the drunk whisperer. If that would have been made 20 years later, that's what it would have been called. But yes, I'm the go-to guy when you need a bouncer. You call in. Has anybody ever run into a guy that was a bouncer that was called in from out of town to handle the issue? I've never heard of that.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're back. Do we have any? I got a couple of emails here, but looks like that's just stuff I'll handle after the show. We've got one last segment. Of course, Andy Heck will be doing his 4 o'clock hour or 3 o'clock hour. And we'll look forward to his comments, especially since his view of the crude market is it's mostly, or if not all, political. So maybe we'll get some insight from him to the jawboning going on from those OPEC countries today and how it's affected the market. I will continue to watch Roadhouse, which is the name of the movie I was talking about. It's just so, everything is just so ludicrous in the movie. that there's a special guy that they call in when everybody becomes unmanageable in a bar. I've never heard anything like it. I'm sure that it does not exist. I just wanted to find the writer and talk to him and ask him where he got it. Interesting nonetheless. Okay, got some more articles here. Let's take a look at a couple of other stocks. Norwegian Cruise Line. Man, I tell you what, I'd love to be in a business that no matter how many people get sick, they come back and jump on your product. If you had as many people getting sick on every airline as this, people throwing up on each other, bathrooms overflowing back into the in the hallways, man, I just hear a ton of bad news from these cruise ship operators. But apparently, no one really cares as long as there's lots of free food. I think that's even if it makes you sick. It's like Chipotle. I saw a lot of interviews for, I've got that thing from Chipotle. Did I play that? Man. Oh, boy. Did I put that in here? If I didn't, I don't know why. Well, I will find it for tomorrow, but it's hysterical. I can't remember if I played it. I don't think I did. Anyway, Norwegian Cruise Line, nice pop out here. It's back up into its February 1st high. Energy is about the same way. It's about the same amount on the way down as the way up. You do have a nice volume day that is higher than that volume from February 1st. But I would say that, you've got basically a little bit more running room, maybe to $50 on it. But, of course, this is the time when most of these cruise ship lines languish in the summer until we start seeing the orders and how many people book trips for next fall. This winter you've got to probably, I'm going to say it's a whole lot milder than it was the year before. This year, I can remember being on US 19 around Christmas trying to get over to the beach, and the traffic was backed up there. After a incredibly horrible winter the year before, everybody was down here this year. My guess is that they'll go, okay, well, the winter wasn't that bad, and they'll probably not have as many trips down here to Florida and probably not as many trips on cruise lines again. I think that they just probably benefited from a really horrible year before. But normally this is the quiet period, and until you get into about September, October in the booking season for cruises for the winter, you really don't see the huge moves in cruise lines. What is it, CCL? Isn't that the other one? Carnival? This thing's back, the same kind of thing. It's back up to this big gap down on light volume. This one looks worse, though. I'd have to look at this thing for a short. Man, if this could get up to 52, I think it would be ringing the bell as to that. Anyway, we'll see you in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll wrap up everything that happened in the day and talk to Andy Heck midway through the show.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.